farming, eh?
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
How's it going, guys? We're back with another video, some more edgy talk. But in the background, I'm playing some Valorant. It was a pretty good game, even though it was my warm-up game, and it's on the new patch. It's 1.04, so I wanted to show you guys what I've been doing in the meantime. But yeah, some more FGC talk, and this is more of a general talk. It doesn't really have anything to do with any one particular game. It's just kind of a discussion in general for all fighting games, and that is the low-tier hero. Low-tier heroes have existed in fighting games for quite a long time, as long as I've played at least. You know, it's mainly in fighting games. I feel like I've seen it the most. You know, sometimes in other games, like League of Legends, I guess, maybe some other character-driven games, but you don't see too much of it, especially not like in Valorant or anything like that. So I feel like this more aligns an FGC kind of thing that people like to play the low-tier characters. And I know the usual response is like, oh, it's because they want an excuse for losing, right? So like when they lose, it's like, oh, my character just sucks. That's why I'm losing. And I can see that, yeah, that could be the case sometimes, but I don't think it's the main reason why people play characters that are particularly weaker. And I have some other examples, or not examples, but like other ideas of why people play those certain characters. The first one is that they just like the character, right? I know it's a pretty simple, duh answer that they just like the character and they don't really they don't care about winning all the time. They kind of want to just win with that character that they played, right? It's not about winning. It's about having fun more, right? Not every person that plays a fighting game, wants to win all the time. They want to enjoy the game, and they're not out here trying to win tournaments all the time. So that could be one reason that people may not think about, or it might be very obvious, but people may just forget about that kind of aspect in fighting games, that people just like to have fun. The second one is that they think they're better than the meta. So this is a little more volatile. And I have fallen victim to this to a degree. I have. I'm not gonna lie. I've had my instances where I've thought I was better than the meta in a way. Like I've played characters that aren't necessarily as good or the best characters in the game, but I felt like I'm good enough to get through it. And I think one example is for Dragon Ball, especially. There was in times when I was playing Cell, right, when Cell was the best, but after I want to say season 2, where Cell definitely fell off a little bit, and I kind of stuck with him because I kind of thought he's still good enough. I don't have to play the best character in the game, which was not the case, because eventually I had to switch because I was not better than the meta. So there could be one way to think about it. It's definitely a way of thinking that I have fallen into, especially. Next one would be they see something no one else does, and this kind of falls in line with the second example I just said, that they think they're better than the meta, but it's a little bit different. This is more along the lines that they think their character's really good. And the example I given were Cell. I played Cell. I didn't think Cell was that great anymore, but I was partially too lazy to pick up another character, and also I felt like I didn't really need to, that I was good enough to just play with the character.
Teleporting heaven.
But in this case, it's more aligned that oh, my character's really good. It's just they don't see what I see.
I hear them, eh?
Right. It's a little bit different, and this happens quite a bit in a variety of games. I can't really point out a specific type of game that happens more often than not. But yeah, it's a little bit more of a remix compared to the point I mentioned before. It's they think they're better than the meta, and they think their character is also the meta. Right? It's just they're gonna figure it out. And sometimes that could be the case, but most of the time it really isn't. Most of the time it's just them being stubborn. Another point I want to bring up is they also could be just waiting for the eventual buffs of their character. That may or may not happen, but they think their character is so bad, and they kind of like playing the character, kind of like some of the points of the first one. But, the buffs are coming, right? I just got to stick it out. Once my character becomes really good, I'm going to be OD because I play this character, and I'm already familiar with it while everybody else is trying to catch up to me. That is also a way of thinking, which is not a bad idea. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And it's one reason that could be possible of a low tier hero. But usually these types of low tier heroes don't stick for too long. These are more people that kind of experiment. A lot of pro players do it sometimes, that they play a character that might be a little bit underwhelming, but they like the character, they feel like they're good with the character, and they might stick around, play him as a secondary or a possible main for a little bit. But if it doesn't work out and they don't get the buffs that they're waiting for, they might switch. So it's more like a low tier, not like a hero, because then someone who plays them all the time, but kind of like a low tier amateur, semi hero. The next one I'm going to bring up is when they win, they feel like they've earned it. And this one I can understand to a degree as well. It's that kind of mindset where you feel like when you win with that character, so you get a big tournament win, or even if it's not a big tournament win, let's say if it's like a tournament that, you know, you do pretty good at, or if it's a local you win, you feel like you didn't play like the best character, right? You played a character that was a little bit weaker or much weaker, you won, you feel better about yourself because you didn't like
She's rising.
benefit from a character's like insane power, right? It's more about you doing well instead of your character doing well, and that's kind of a little bit more of a pride thing. And you know, it's something I can get behind
One enemy
to a
remaining.
degree. You know, it's not a bad way of thinking.
10 seconds.
You know, everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to win all the time with the most broken character, because then you feel like you cheated yourself, and some people feel like, oh, he just won because the character's busted, and that can happen quite a bit, especially in big tournaments like Evo or something like that. Let's say you win Evo with a character that's like super broken. You know, a lot of people can kind of downplay that in your victory, and that can kind of suck sometimes. But you know, it is what it is. Sometimes it happens, and that might be a reason why people don't play the absolute best character. But some people don't care. They just want to play it because, fuck it, it's the best character they gave. And finally, the last point I want to bring up is they have, well, I wrote down here, they have a hero with the same character. And I guess like a top player, kind of, someone they look up to, as in like, oh man, this guy is playing my character and he's doing so well with it, right? That means I could do well with it. And you know, that could be the case. You could find something, or the person you're looking up to, the player, could find something that may really change the dynamic of the character. And it is it could happen. Most of the time it doesn't. Sometimes the guy that you're watching, the player that you're watching, could just be very gifted, and you may not have that gift. You know, it may just be something different that he has that you don't. But yeah, those are just some examples that people may not think of. Maybe people go to the default as like, oh, they just feel like having an excuse. There's a lot of dynamics when coming to picking a character, especially characters that aren't the best, right? I feel like there's more dynamics on who or why people pick a certain character that is much weaker than is compared to somebody picking the best character. There's a lot less dynamics or thought process involved. But yeah, those are my points I wanted to bring up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this topic. Let me know in the comments if you have any other topics I want to bring up, because I'll definitely run out eventually. I'm not very creative guy, so definitely hook me up. Let me know what topics you want to hear, especially for fighting games. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.